Hello everyone, welcome to the BISP Solutions. So our today's topic for the advanced consolidation is we'll see the configurable consolidation. So before starting with the configurable consolidation rule writing, we'll see what is all configurable consolidation rules about. So the purpose of consolidation rules in populating the elimination members is to create the journal entries from the source data in order to reclassify, adjust and eliminate the reported data. So consolidation rules, they provide for the creation of the rule sets, and each rule set can contain one or more rules. The rule set will represent a journal, and each rule will represent one journal posting entry. So what is a rule set? I have used the term as rule set. So what is the rule set? So several parameters can be applied to the rule set. So first is like condition you have to give, like a condition you need to give under which the rule set is executed. The condition can be based on the consolidation method applicable to the entity dimension, parent or child combination which will be processed, and there will be some combination of some dimension members or dimension member attributes. Then you have to give the factor, that is a factor to which to apply to the source data values. Then you have to give the source data set, that is the source data set is to be processed by consolidation rule set defaults to the page dimension members of current scenario, current year, current period, level 0 members of the FCCS entity total consolidation dimension. We'll see, I'll repeat these points again when I'll open the configurable consolidation rule page. There you will see that you have to define, you have to give the condition, you have to define the factor, you have to define the source data set, you have to define the scope and the partner elimination. That means we'll see each and everything in detail. Now what about the rules? So one or more rules can be created within that rule set. All right, so let's start. So you go to the application, consolidation. Here you can see the consolidation process. We have configurable consolidation, and we'll see how to create the rules. So from here you click on create rule. So when you click on this create rule, you have to define the rule name for which you are creating it. So like I'll say so it is consolidation. I have to give the rule name, so I am creating the rule for investment rule. Here you need to give the description, that is it eliminates investments from the holding and calculated goodwill. It eliminates investment from the holding company, and it also calculates goodwill. Alright, now here you need to give the condition. So here you will be selecting what all things you require. So like I'll say FCCS data source less than greater than 0. I need entity current method is holding is equals to holding, then entity consolidation percentage is greater than 0. Then next I'll say entity consolidation percentage change is greater than equals to 0, and intercompany consolidation. So these all conditions I have selected. Now I have some advanced conditions also which need to be selected. That is, here it will say whatever you have selected, and if any value you want to give it, you can select it from here. That is, data source is there. So if data source does not equals to 0, and entity current method equals holding, so here you can give it or. If data source doesn't equals to 0, or the entity current method is holding, or you can give one more. That is your, here you will select the dimension, that is your entity current method, operator will be equals, and method will be, as say here, subsidiary. So entity current method equals to subsidiary, and here you can say or as well. That is, data source doesn't equal to 0, or does not equals to 0, or if your entity current method is equals to holding, or your entity current method equals to subsidiary, then your entity consolidation percentage is greater than 0, and your consolidation percentage does not equals to 0, and intercompany consolidation is greater than 0. If these are my conditions, now click here OK. So it is defined here. Now you have to select factor as current, and here it is entity consolidation percentage. Now this is the data set where it is saying current scenario, current year, current period. So this is what I was discussing is, first is the condition that you need to give it. That is, several parameters you have to apply for this rule set, right? So first is condition, and condition under which your rule set is executed. The condition can be based on your consolidation method applicable to the entity dimension, parent or child combination. You have seen these, and some combination of dimension members or dimension member attributes. They are applicable for the rule set conditions, and they are on the page dimensions: scenario, year, period, entity, and the subcube dimensions as well. That is your account, intercompany, movement, data source, multi-gap. Then the second is your factor. That is this factor to which to apply to the source data values. A source data, and then it is multiplied by the selected factors. Then you have source data set. This is your source data set where source data set that is to be processed by the consolidation rule sets defaults to the page dimension members of the current scenario, current year, current period, level 0 members of the entity total consolidation dimension. You can see here it is defined by current scenario, current year, current period, level 0 members of entity total consolidation dimension member, and a parent currency, and the view as the periodic. Now here you have the scope defined, that is a source data point of view to filter the data set to which to apply the rule set on a dimension by dimension basis. The default source POV includes all level 0 members of the subgroup dimensions, that is your account, intercompany, movement, data source, multi-gap, plus any user created custom dimensions. So you'll hear from here now. Start defining the values. So first is your account that I'll be selecting. Here you need to define the value. So I am eliminating the investment. So investment in sub. So this is my investment in sub. So it has selected the rate override account, which is here you have to select investment in sub. So yeah, non-current assets, investment in sub is the right value for this account. Then I'll define the value for intercompany. So there's a value defined where you can select directly this in your Aura docs and you can paste it. That is any ICP that is a descendant of the current parent. Then third, you can select for movement. Here you can define the value. I want to take total movement changes. That is level 0 descendants of total movement changes. And click OK. Yes, one more thing, I'll exclude the opening balances, that is here from here, add exclusion. Exclude this opening balance and click OK. So for movement, I've taken the members as level 0 descendants of the total movement changes and I have excluded the opening balance. Now I'll select the data source. For data source, I'll define I'll take the level 0 descendants of the total data source, that is here. I'll pick the level 0 descendants and click OK. Alright, so I have given all these values and I have defined the data sets, condition, defined the factor, and I'll say save and close. Okay, before creating any data rule set for this rule, that is investment rule, I would like to show you first the input values that I have entered the numbers for these, at what intersection I have entered the numbers, inputted the values. So I have already done that. So you can see these are my two entities, and this is my intersection, that is I have taken all the base members. These are all my accounts, and on A column you can see the movement for those particular account. Like for bank checking account, I have taken the movement as changes in cash, and for this company I have defined the value as 642950. Similarly, for the second entity, that is your subsidiary entity, I have taken the value as 3 lakh. So the short-term receivable account shows 62,500 for LE1 and 50,000 for LE2. Inventory shows 9,500 for LE1 and 91,000 for LE2 with the movement changes in inventory. Building and improvement for LE1 is 406,000 and for LE2 is 104,000. Short-term debt for LE1 is 1,76,000 and for LE2 it is 68,000, showing the movement as changes in accounts payable. Long-term debt for LE1 it is 2,20,000 and 85,000 for LE2, showing the movement as changes due to proceeds from debt. Common stock shows the movement as changes due to issue of stock with the amount 6,62,500 and 3,58,000 for the two entities respectively. And here it shows the revenue. From P&L side I have taken one revenue and second as your expense as labor burden cost, and the retained earning will show the difference of these two for the respected entities. And the investment in sub, for that I have taken the movement as acquisition of companies and business input, and you can see that intercompany partner I have selected as for LE1, LE2 ICP is my intercompany partner, and 37,000 is the amount of investment in subsidiary. Okay, so let's get back to our creation of a rule. So once I'll create the rule, I'll deploy this rule, and we'll see the calculation of the goodwill and the investment getting removed. All right. So select this investment rule, and you can now for that rule you are adding the rule sets. So as I said, factor, it is just for the elimination with the source value, and elimination is just for the target. And data set, it is the POV for the source from where we are going to take all the data and then we deliver this to the target. Okay, so now what I'll say is investment eliminate. And so here the processing option will be subtract, as we want to eliminate the investment from the holding company, and so that it should be eliminated, and it should pick 0 in the consolidated balance sheet. So for that, if you want to redirect any members, you will select redirect members. Like for long-term investment in sub, we want the same as source. For intercompany also I want the same as source. For movement also same as source. I'll change for data source, I'll pick intercompany elimination for data source. Intercompany elimination, so I'm redirecting the member for this data source and save and close. So for this investment rule, I've created this rule set, that is investment eliminate. Now I'll create one more rule set, that is goodwill calculation. And here the processing option, I want to keep it as add. Account, now I'll start with redirect members. For account, I want to take it as goodwill offset. So I want redirect for account member as goodwill offset. Similarly for intercompany, I'll keep same as source. Now movement, I'll take as under closing balance, under movement changes, under subtotal, and under investing activity, you have taken the movement as acquisition of companies and businesses input. So if you check here, we have taken for investment in sub as acquisition of companies and business input. So I'm selecting the same and I'm redirecting it to this movement as we have inputted the value using this movement. And for data source, I'll pick intercompany elimination. Here it will be, this is done, that is save and close. So you can see for this rule I have defined the two rule set, that is first is investment eliminate, second is goodwill calculation. Now before deploying this, we'll set up everything in the application. First we'll define the ownership structure. So this is your ownership structure. This is my, if you can see any entity, suppose you'll come here and define the ownership structure for like this 100%, 80%, and likewise whatever you can make your holding company, subsidiary company. After that you have to, under application consolidation, once you define your ownership structure, recompute the ownership structure and then come here under consolidated, open the configurable consolidation. This is my rule, that is investment rule, and deploy this rule. So it says completed deploying the rule. If you drill down this investment rule, so all the three are deployed successfully, and you can run the business rule from here, rules. So as I have already run it, so once your business rule is run, you can come to the output sheet and check the result. So You can see these are my entities, and this is my subsidiary holding company, this is my subsidiary company, and this is my parent company. I am checking the taken the movement as closing balance, that is a top movement for all the respected accounts, that is bank. So you can see my amount for the bank checking account was 62, 64, 2950 and 3 lakh. So when you prepare the consolidated balance sheet, it will get add up, it will add both the bank accounts. So the sum of these two shows 942950. Similarly, accounts receivable is 62,500, and when you'll add 50,000 to it, it will give you 112500. Inventory will merge, both the inventories will get merged, that is all the assets and liabilities will get merged. So we are checking just the result, that is 9500 plus 91,000, it will give you 181500. Similarly for building and improvements and your current liability, that is your short-term debt, it will give you 24,4000. Long-term debt, when you'll add both these, it will give you the result of 2,20,000 plus 85,000, that is 3,05,000. Short-term debt will give you 1,76,000 plus 68,000 will give you 2,44,000. Common stock, now this you can see the common stock of just the parent company will come over here. So this is what you are getting. With the help of the rule, now you can see your investment amount, that is 37,000, it should get eliminated. So you are getting a 0 at the consolidated balance sheet. And the goodwill calculation needs to be done. So how goodwill needs to be calculated, I have already done the calculation over here. That is, you can see goodwill calculation. So investment amount is, I have done the investment of 37,000. Okay, let's do it again. Investment of this much less share capital, and you have done showing, I have taken the ownership percentage is 80%, that is suppose holding has acquired 80% of the subsidiary. So the share capital amount is 0.8, so that is 286400, and the difference of these two, it shows you the negative goodwill right now, that is 249400. You can say the capital reserve. So this is getting calculated correctly, and the investment amount is getting eliminated. So like this you can write the rules, and it is already written in the FCCS predefined rules. So this way you can write the customized rules as well, whatever you want. You have to define all these factors and data rule sets and give the condition and just deploy the rule. And you have to define the dimension and select them, define the value for members for all those dimensions. And similarly you can see if you see the minority interest calculation as well. So the minority interest shows the share capital amount with the help of predefined rules. You can get the share capital amount as well, that is what 20% they'll get. So share capital is 3,58,000 into 20% is 71600, and they'll get the share in the retained earnings of the subsidiary. So they have the retained earnings of 30,000, so 20% belongs to them. So their minority interest or the minority income should be this much, 77,600. You can see this is what it is giving. Just by running the predefined rules, you will get, just by deploying the predefined rules, you will get all these results and run the business rule. Now the third thing that it should give you, the rest all is getting added up. That is, you can see you have added your bank checking account, that is the sum of these two, or add all the assets and liabilities. So you have added your bank checking account, you have added your short-term receivables, you add your inventory, this is also an asset, this is also a long-term asset, building and improvement, you add your short-term debt, you add your long-term debt. Now common stock you do not add, retained earnings you do not add, the remaining all calculation needs to be done. So for common stock, with the help of running the business rule and the predefined rules, you can see only the common stock of parent should come. Now the retained earning calculation is there, so this I'll tell you with the help of this is revenue and labor cost, that is nothing but one is your revenue, one is your expense, which so we'll see how the retained earning, consolidated retained earnings will come over here, how this number is coming, that is 1,43,000. Investment in sub, with the help of rule we have seen, that is this should get eliminated at the consolidated level. We have seen the calculation of goodwill, how this is getting calculated with the help of the rule, and minority interest, and we have seen the calculation of the minority interest as well. So this number we have derived, this number we have derived. Only the thing left is we need to check for 1,43,000. All right. So consolidated retained earning will be retained earning of parent this is the retained earning of the parent. They'll get their retained earning share, and retained earning of subsidiary, as they have invested 80%, so they'll get 80% of the share in the subsidiary retained earning as well. So the consolidated retained earning is this plus this. It should be 1,43,000. So you can see the numbers getting matched and getting calculated correctly. So this is how, with the help of preceded rules, you can get the numbers and you can write the custom rule. So one we have seen today is writing the investment rule and defining the rule set, that is how investment elimination and your goodwill calculation. We'll cover one more rule in the next session. Till then you can practice, and if you'll have any questions you can contact BISP Solutions. Thank you all for your time. We'll connect for the next rule in the next topic in the next session. Thank you.